Look, we hold a view, and a very strong view, that Senzo was killed. And those people in the house know who killed Senzo. We're more than convinced. Personally, I'm more than convinced Kelly knows. I'm more than convinced that she knows something. And there must be a way she must be held accountable. But it must be done in an orderly manner so that its outcome is not questionable.
Chada, we are back with another video. What we heard there, it is the Commander-in-Chief of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema, saying that the people in the house knows who the shooter of Senzo Meyo because he was amongst them. One of them is the shooter, and that is a fact. Now I'm going to play an audio of Usiyabonga Miya before he was captured by some elements, where he alleged that the police did not tell us Uguti Senzo Meyo was driven to hospital by these people in the house, but then they turned back to the house and put him in a sofa instead of sending him to hospital directly, which is why he had no chance of surviving. That shows that they had no intentions of saving Senzo's life. Just listen and watch.
Ufa ngesibhamu kabuhlungu mangase ngitshela ukuthi kwenzakalani kuSenzo endlini. There are even suspicions ukuthi wadutshulwa wakhishwa bemphuthumise esibhedlela bajike endleleni bambuyisela kusofa. I'm talking into because uSenzo when he was shot encike ewindini lase kitchen. The neighbor wayembona. uKelly wayekhala ethi hawu idubulelani indoda yami yenzeni kwena ubaba Khumalo wayengitshela umakhelwane. We understand. Angikhulumi Alex la ukuthi ngiyafunisela mfethu kunje nje I went there, I was there. Wayekhala uthi ubaba Khumalo uKelly kwaqala umsindo wawufana noma uKelly mayixabana noJubJub. We understand, uyabona ukuthi it was a love affair. Ethi wenzeni kwena before kukhala isibhamu. It's a neighbor who's saying that to me.
Usekhona ubaba Khumalo?
Ubaba Khumalo ukhona and ubaba Khumalo wayeyiphoyisa. A neighbor mawuka Kelly ngala eceleni. Yes, umakhelwane.
So do you know i relationship yakhe naye family imiphi ke since esedalulela ezimfihlo?
Phela wayedalula kumina. I went there, everything ebengiyenza
Yeah, that was Usiyabonga Miya. He's saying that these people in the house, they were on their way to hospital, but they turned back to the house and put Senzo in the sofa, where he eventually lost his life because the wound that was in his chest was too much. So it shows that these people in the house did not really care about Senzo, because if they did, they would have called the police or the ambulance. They would not have taken Senzo on their own because they are not trained to do so. So now we'll look at Gininda saying that people in the house were not really suspect when it comes to murder. But the case of defeating the ends of justice is very strong against them. All of them should have been charged because they clearly lied and they conducted things that should not have been done, like putting him in a sofa instead of going straight to the hospital. Once they decided that they were not going to call the police or the ambulance, then they should have gone straight to the hospital and not do all these things that led to his death. But Katia Kininda wants us to believe that people entered the house and demanded money and cell phone. But when Longo Twala did an interview on Metro FM, he contradicted himself. I'm going to play an audio. You must listen to Longo Twala. He says he ran out and then could not phone the police or anyone or ask for help because he did not have his cell phone. But later on, that interview, he says his cell phone was in his pocket. Listen to Longo and we share what he said. Just listen.
I mean, it was a robbery gone wrong, you know. I was even the coward of the day because I actually ran out as those gunmen actually came in and requested phones and money from us. I was actually the first to stand up to try and protect everyone, not realizing that the other guy was also had a gun and pointed the gun at me, and I actually ran out the door after he pointed the gun in self-defense. From then, I was outside. I wanted to go get help, but it was late. Neighbors and everyone was sleeping. I didn't even have my phone because I left it at the house, so I couldn't call the cops. So then a fight broke loose inside because obviously Senzo was protecting Kelly because we were investigated hardcore by police. They took our phones. I went in for questioning and everything.
Did you guys, which phones?
Our personal cell phones.
Oh, okay.
Yes, just,
they hadn't taken them from you?
They took them from us. And then,
the criminals, I mean?
No.
Okay.
The criminals, they couldn't take my phone because I ran out. I had my phone in my pocket, so they didn't take my phone. Yeah, so then they took my phone and everything just to check if, I've got any involvement in the murder. And they didn't find anything. So when they came in, they demanded money and cell phones from us. Then I stood up because I was scared because I didn't know what was going on. Basically, I was actually probably the coward of the day. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I stood up in because I tried to fight one of the guys in order to defend everyone and defend myself, but not knowing that he had a gun. So he pointed the gun at me. And that's when I ran out the door because I didn't know what was going to happen.
What were you all doing in the house just before these two guys entered the home?
Basically, it was the time when I was dating Uzandi. I mean, I came that day innocently. I was checking the cherry. You know what I mean? I didn't come to even chill. I just came to pick Zandi up, but then Uzandi told me, the mother has cooked some Sunday lunch. Can I please stay over for the lunch? So it was actually, Sunday, can I stay over for the lunch and everything? So I was like, okay, why not? I loved Zandi at the time, I wanted also a good reputation towards the mother and everything. So, I stayed. So whilst we're eating, that's when we're eating, sharing jokes and everything, and then that's when these two guys came in and requested money and cell phones from us. Yeah.
So, I mean, to your recollection, you mentioned the fact that you ran out the house. I mean, is there anything else that is quite telling that you remember from that night in terms of what happened after Senzo was shot?
Basically, I don't know what happened in the house because I was not in the house at the time. I was outside. All I heard was 3 gunshots. And then
From outside the house?
From outside the house. All I heard was 3 gunshots. But what I remember after was just chaos. Obviously, we were trying to bring Senzo back, you know what I mean? Drove him to hospital and everything, and only to find out the sad news that he had passed on. It was chaos, you know what I mean? And I'm speechless as well because,
I mean, obviously, it's a case and it's an investigation. So, in terms of interactions with the police, I mean, what's been your experience with that since the incident? Have you been interacting with the police?
So a trained policeman would have just observed and realized that Longotwala is lying. Longotwala lied through his teeth when he said he ran out and could not ask for any assistance. In the audio that I played, he says the neighbors were sleeping. But we know that those are lies because the Ngashes, that is where I think Twala jumped. He jumped the wall and entered their house, and then jumped back to the Kumala household. The Ngashes saw everything, which means they were not sleeping. Longotwala is lying through his teeth. You also know that there was a neighbor there, Mr. Kumal, who was the policeman. We heard in that first order by Siamangamia saying Kumal was the one that heard everything. He heard that there was a fight in the house, and Kelly asked, Umdulelani, why did you shoot him? So Umdulelani means webuza umuntu osendlini, umuntu amaziyo, wayengekabuze nkabe lo umdulelani umuntu yabo. So ke Long was lying when he says that the neighbors were sleeping. We know that the Kumalos and then the Ngashes were not sleeping. And then we also know that based on a state witness, the so-called Tabang Makeleni, he said he was sitting outside the house and observed 2 intruders. But now, if the neighbors were sleeping, then Tabang Makeleni was not going to see anything because he would have been sleeping himself. So Ulongotwala is lying when the neighbors were sleeping. He could not ask for help. But he also says that cell phone was in his pocket. not realizing that he's contradicting his earlier statement where he said he left his cell phone in the house when he ran out. So about Longotwala, there's clearly something that is really suspect about him. Clearly, he should have been charged alongside with these guys that are in the house, because he knows more than what he told the police. Remember in his statement, he said, Wapuma, Wabalega. Akashong what happened for a look. But on his EAVL or tracker that was brought by the state just to prove who Longo did not go to hospital. That tracker shows that Longo drove around for Sloras. He never tried to ask for help, maybe go to a police station or go to anyone else. He just drove around for Sloras after Senzo was shot. It shows that he was troubled. Clearly something was troubling him, because he knows very well what he in hands. Based on statements coming from Slop, we know that it is alleged that Tumanabadala phoned him and told him that Longotwala had shot Senzo by mistake. And that happened when Senzo was trying to separate the fight between Zandi and his boyfriend, which is Longotwala. So Longotwala is the one that pulled the trigger, allegedly. So the police did not even bother to investigate that angle, because they were quick to go and arrest these 5 men that are before court, simply because they wanted to close the case, simply because they wanted to protect someone that is powerful, that has a father that is known all over South Africa. We know that Chokotwala had a meeting with General Sibiya. That meeting, it is alleged that it was discussed that Longotwala must be protected, and the plan was hatched that the people that in the house must stick to the theory of the intruder, but we know for a fact that's a lie. Now I'm going to play an audio of Uram Sepile also debunking the lies by Longotwala Loguti ran out the house, because clearly it is not impossible. It is impossible, Njalo. You can just run out and the Inkabis do not shoot you. Let's listen to Ramza and then we'll talk.
I'm going to put it to you that this story of Longotwala pushing the first intruder out and running out of the house is not correct. It's not the truth.
I don't know if you say it's not the truth, then what is it?
I'm going to demonstrate it. We'll take it bit by bit and arrive at a conclusion that clearly shows there were no intruders in the house. Longotwala was there in the house as the shot is fired, but we'll take it step by step.
I think that we'll be making a mistake there.
No, there is no way Longwe could have gone to the person carrying firearm without being shot. It clearly shows that there was no intruder who entered the house carrying a gun.
Ngifuna ukutshela ukuthi lokho kukhomba kahle kamhlophe ukuthi akekho umhlaseli ongena lapha endlini, akukhonakala ukuthi yena uLongwe bayangayamile umuntu ohlome ngesibhamu angakadutshulwa. Lokho kuchaza kahle kamhlophe ukuthi hayi ngekho umuntu ongena lapha endlini.
Amanga lawo amanga imini ngangisendlini lokho ke 100% sure wabo amanga lawo.
That's a lie.
Bangena abantu abawu2 endlini.
I'm the one who was inside the house and then 2 intruders entered the house.
Don't worry, Mr. Madala, I'm going to prove by one to you to show you that it's not correct what you are saying. It's not true that there was an intruder who entered inside the house. Besides Mr. Longwe running towards the intruder whilst carrying the firearm, how come he was not shot? How come? No firearm.
Akakadutshulwe uLongwe agijima ekuyilo umuntu ophethe isibhamu. Kuzenjani akakadutshulwa?
Asibuye lo qale kona ukuthi there's no intruders. Lokho ngizophinde ngiphendule futhi. Kwamanga, kusafanele ukuprove la lokho uma ukuthi uthi kuyiqinisa kwamanga lokho bangena abantu abawu20 yibo laba bulongwa ecaba aphusha yena oyedwa wabo.
Ibambe lapho. Let me first start here. When you said that there was no intruder who entered the house, there were people who entered the house. Then the person that Longotwala rushed to inside the house.
Forget about lies and what is not lies. Just answer the question.
khohlwa ngamanga lokho ungasingamanga phendula nje umbuzo
angeke ngiphendule
I'm here.
umbuzo uma ungifida into wrong kufanele ngiyiphendulele phela
I cannot answer the question if you feed me something that is wrong. I have to answer for myself.
You'll have to answer this question. How come he was not shot, Mr. Longwe, when he approached the person who was carrying the gun? Is it possible?
ngiphendulele ngathi akukho possible because nama ngiyanga
Thank you.
kuyo
I answered that.
Yep. Firstly, there was Ramosepile and then later on Mshololo. Debunking the lies that Ulona Ulongotwala ran out of the house after Senzo was shot. And the question was, how was he not shot? Because intruders were allegedly carrying a firearm. Would they allow a witness to run around and go out alive? That's clearly a lie. If Longotola ran out in front of Inkabi, he was going to be shot and unalive there, like says Omio, because when Inkabis enter a house, they make sure that there are no witnesses that are left alive. So the story of the intruder is total fabrication. The real killer, we know that he was in the house, he was amongst them. And based on the statement of Mlingihlope, we know who pulled the trigger by mistake. It is allegedly Longotwala himself, not Ukadla Mncube. Ukadla Mncube, when Senzo Meyo was shot, he was not in Fosoras. How do we know that? We know that because based on his cell phone records, it shows that at about 7:30 to 8, it pinged in Johannesburg CPD, meaning that Ukadla Mncube was not in Fosoras. If he was at Johannesburg CPD, he could not be in Fosoras because he can't be in two places at once because Bagwethu, he's not the Holy Spirit. So Ukadla Mncube is actually a victim here. Bambophela amanqina enyathi for into engekho. Wayengekho lapha. And secondly, we know that isibhamu sikaGadi, it was tested in February 2015 by Umasondo and Udlamini. Those are the two police officers that arrested Ukadla Mncube for the Cleveland case where it is alleged that he shot and killed a taxi boss. When they arrested him, they found him with a gun. Then they tested the gun to see if it matches with any other crime committed, including the Senzo Meyo case. The ballistic test came back and they were negative. They did not match to a projectile that was found in the crime scene ka Senzo Meyo or emzini ka Mama Khumalo where Senzo was shot. So clearly the fabrication began when Brigadier Geninda and the other rogue officers came to the case allegedly. That is when they were able to link the gun ka Ukadla Mncube after the fact. Remember that Umangena admits that when he went to collect the gun at Cleveland, the gun was found on an open bag, meaning that that gun was there, lying there, not being secured as an exhibit. So the barrel of the gun could have been changed to implicate Ukadla Mncube. That is highly possible because Umangena himself, he confessed that he found the gun in an open bag. That is one thing that I can applaud Umangena for. He told the truth about that. Because now, if the gun is not secured as an exhibit, the court cannot rely on that evidence because it is disputed evidence. It is an exhibit that was not secured. And in terms of the law, an exhibit must be put in a safe bag and locked, not kept on the floor as the gun Mncube was found. We were told by Geninda, no that gun was about to be destroyed. No. We do not care about that. The law says the exhibit must be kept in a safe. So if the gun was in an open bag, barrel to implicate Ukadla Mncube. Secondly, the DNA evidence that was taken from the house by Sergeant Mosia, it was examined by an independent DNA expert and found that the DNA sample taken from the house exclude all 5 men from being in the crime scene. That shows that Ukadla Mncube, Bogantanzi, Musibiya, Mapisa, and Tuli were not in the house. So the people that actually killed Senzo Meyo were amongst those that were in the house. That is why docket 5 is very important, that we must go to that docket once this circus that is before Judge Racha is over. We are go to docket 5 because That is where the Moyo family will find justice. Docket 205. The need to arrest everyone in the house. Firstly, Longotwala, as the shooter allegedly, must be charged for culpable homicide, killing someone by mistake, allegedly. Then the others, they must be charged for defeating the ends of justice because they lied about everything that occurred in the house after the police had arrived. And then Shadrach Sibiya must also be charged because we were told that he came to the house before the arrival of Umosiya. He conducted a meeting in that house where it was still an active crime scene, meaning that Sibiya contaminated the crime scene by being there in that house. That is also defeating the ends of justice, and Sibiya knows all that because he's a policeman. So ilapho-ke uDokotela 5 iyona la sothola khona i-justice. Otherwise okunye umbhedo konke lokushoyo yokuthi lo ugadla uyena owadubula uthi uNtanzi wangena endlini naye badimanda imali nama-cellphone. Amanga lawo ayinto engazange kwenzeke no, because if it happened, the people in the house were going to be able to identify those two intruders. But isikhathi beya kwi-identification parade, none of them were able to point out, okay, this is the shooter or this is the intruder, first suspect or second suspect. None of them. But the only person that was able to help the police to create a sketch, it was Utabang Makeleni, who's unfortunately no more. But his statement remained because now he's going to be accepted since he's dead. And it is unfortunate because now the defense will not be able to cross-examine him because a dead man can't speak. So the people in the house could not identify the shooters or the intruders, whereas they were in a proximity. They were like 50 or 40 meters away from them. They should have seen it, okay, hilo, nangilo, but abakwazi ukubona lokho because banamanga. There were no intruders in the house. So as for Tabang Makeleni, I think his statement was fabricated by the police because they knew that he was somehow not going to be able to be brought before court since he was going to die. His death remained a mystery because he died of poisoning, the same way as Uplakatia Ndlovu, the one that was attending the crime scene alongside Mosi. So those two died due to poisoning, and I suspect that the state or the police had something to do with it because Brigadier Ndlovu, it is alleged that he was going to contradict Sergeant Mosia. The fact that Mosia arrived at the crime scene very late and blamed Ndlovu for giving him a wrong address. Ndlovu was going to come and tell the court that, no, my lord, Mosia is lying. I gave him a court address, but he did not come to the crime scene up until it was contaminated. Now Mosia is blaming Ndlovu because Ndlovu is dead. The dead man cannot speak. So those two were killed by poisoning, Ndlovu and Utawa Makeleni. I suspect that Utawa Makeleni was going to come to court and dispute that statement where it says he identified these two intruders running out of the house. Ulona Makeleni was going to say, no, my lord, I was tortured by the police to write that statement. The same thing that was said by Ukwabini. The same thing that was alleged by Ubaba Absalom Zulu. So the state, there's a history of torturing witnesses in order to get a statement. But this week, the case will resume, and Ubantan is still being cross-examined by Ubaloy. And Baloy is still asking him about the telephone information. As it was in 2018, 2019, after Senzo Mio was shot and unalived. That does not help us to solve the case because Senzo was shot and killed in 2014. It will help if the state was questioning his telephone records, Kantanzi and his friends, for 2014, immediately after Senzo was unalive. But now, Bambu's going to go 2018, 19. Secondly, Untanzi already said that, my lord, my phone was taken by Mabena and the police when I was arrested, on the 16th of June 2020. So anything that happened after that, my lord, I'm not responsible because I was not in possession of my phone. The police had my phone all this time. So Mabena was the one that was making calls to Ulebo. Mabena was the one that was making calls to my families. I hope that Ntanzi can call one of the family members to come and testify and say, yes, we received a phone call from this Ntanzi's cell phone number, and it was not Ntanzi that was spoke on the other side, but it was someone that he did not know. Then Ntanzi's story would be collaborated. And then Ntanzi was also called his girlfriend, Ulebo. You remember that there are over 100 phone calls that were made from that number to Ulebo. And Ntanzi didn't dispute that because he says his cell phone was taken away when he was arrested. So it will help if Lebo is called and Lebo can tell the court that, my lord, yes, I was called from that number, but it was not Ntanzi that spoke to me. It was someone else that I do not know. Then the state case will collapse automatically because now Ntanzi would have corroborated his story to say that my phone was taken by the police when I was arrested. It is very crucial. And lastly, once Ntanzi is done testifying, I'm hoping that he'll also get someone who will confirm his alibi, maybe his family or friend. Someone that will tell the court that Ntanzi, on the 26th of October 2014, he was here with me in KZN, in Rustenburg, or wherever where Ntanzi was. That will boost Ntanzi's case if he can just confirm his alibi via a third person that is not him, because you need an alibi in court to prove ukuthi wawukuphi ngesikhathi Senzo was shot and unalived. I think uGadla Mncube has a strong alibi because, as I've said earlier, the telephone record shows that he was in Johannesburg CBD when Senzo was shot. And we know that accused number 4 says that at all material times I was with accused number 3. So 3 and 4 were together. So those two have an alibi. But Ntanzi needs to call someone to collaborate his story, because that's what happens in court. His story must be collaborated. Hopefully, Ubaloyi is going to finish his cross-examination this week, because it has been long cross-examination, asking the same question differently, hoping that you'll get a different answer. But Ntanzi has remained resolute. He's being steadfast to saying, I did not have my telephone after the 16th of June 2020. Hopefully, Baloyi will end his cross-examination. Thank you for watching.